Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to get my truck tuned. This is a 2018 TRD Off-Road Tacoma, and I'm going from the KDMax 6.0 tune to the Overland Taylor Tune 9.0, and I'm going to be showing you some of the differences in the two so that hopefully you can make a good decision on which tune is best for you. So the KDMax tune, I am on the 6.0 version with the super light throttle, was the setting that I chose, and I have really nothing bad to say about it. I've really enjoyed it. I've heard guys talk about the OTT tune and saying that it's better than the KDMax tune, so I'm excited to see what those changes are. But honestly, I've been really happy with it. I don't have a lot to complain about. I guess the only thing I could complain about is that I saw a slight drop in MPGs, but to me that was worth it for better drivability. I'm going to do some real world testing here just to show you a couple things that I've liked about the KDMax tune, just to show you how the truck behaves and some things that I've experienced. So I'm going to go up this slight incline here, and I'm going to keep the throttle about halfway. And what I love is that it's just going to maintain the gear for me. So as I go up this hill here, it's just going to keep the same gear. It's not going to upshift for me. It'll stay in the RPMs and then shifts when it needs to right there. So that's what I've really liked, is that it'll hold a higher RPM and just let you keep that gear and let you have the power. So now as I continue to go up this hill, it will stay in the gear and it won't automatically upshift for me. And then something else that I've liked is that if I put my foot down, give a little more throttle, it's not going to downshift to get me more power. It's going to stay in the gear, and it's just going to let the engine do the work, which is something I've really loved. So one other downside to this tune is that it didn't fix the adaptive cruise control. So I don't know if they've fixed that in later versions. Like I said, I'm on the 6.0 version. Maybe they have that in the newer versions, I don't know. But that was something that I wish could have been fixed, because having the adaptive cruise control on the stock settings was like unusable. It was always just revving so high and shifting all the time that it just drove me nuts, so they could never use it. So I guess that was one downside to this tune. Like I said, you probably, if you're really interested in the KDMax tune, the newer versions might have fixed that. So that was one downside. Okay, so now I'm about to merge on the freeway, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So the truck feels good. When you put your foot into it, it feels like it's in the right gear. Feels like it's behaving like it should. So I really have nothing negative to say about the KDMax tune, but it will be nice to compare it to the OTT just to see what some of the differences are and see if I can really tell a difference. So my final thoughts on the KDMax tune, like I said, I'm on the 6.0 version, super light throttle. I really don't have a lot of big complaints. The only two things that I would complain about, I guess, if I had to choose, was a slight drop in MPG and that it didn't adjust the adaptive cruise control. But other than that, I've really enjoyed it, and it's going to be nice to see what the differences are in the OTT tune. So let's head to the tuner and let's get the new tune. Okay, so I'm here with Barrett, my tuner with Just So LLC. So if you're in the Utah area looking for a tune, be sure to hit him up.
Hello, I'm Barrett with Just So LLC. I'm part of a larger tuning network, Toyota Tuning Network. We primarily offer Overland Taylor family of tunes. So today, Corey is actually a tune connoisseur. He originally came to me with the Orange Virus 2.0 tune in June of 2021. At that time, I put him on what was the latest and greatest tune on the market at that time, which was a KDMax 6.0 SLT. Corey drove that tune, very happy with it for almost 2 years now. He reached out and asked what was the latest and greatest hot sauce on the market. Right now, my opinion, based on a lot of testing that we've done, is the Overland Taylor family of tunes are the current front runner in the tune business. So I invited Corey over. We are going to update his tune. We're gonna take the KDMax tune off. We're gonna put the Overland Taylor Torque Tune on, and he's gonna go for a drive and tell you what he saw and what he likes. Maybe things he doesn't like, I don't know. He's the tester, so he's in charge. So previously, Corey's ECU was updated. This time we don't have to do any of that. We're just loading the tune on his truck. He's going to run up Parley's Canyon here, which is right behind me. It's super convenient. I don't have an engine dyno here, but I do have a mountain pass, so it's pretty hard to trick a tune on the mountain pass. So we're going to get him loaded up on the latest and greatest and send him on the road for his feedback. So your VIN's already unlocked, your ECU's already unlocked. And so we have a few different throttles to choose from now. On a truck configured like yours, I'm gonna recommend we start with the light file. And so make no mistake, light is still a significant improvement over stock. Compared to the older KDMax tunes, which tended to be a bit more abrupt and aggressive. This is a bit smoother. It's gonna kind of ramp up. It's still got plenty of power. Your ECT button will have our tow/sport mode, which is unique versus other tunes on the market. So it will bump your throttle up 1 notch, which most tunes on the market bump your throttle up. We also change your shift logic with the ECT button.
Cool.
So it's more of a true sport/tow mode, where it will hold a lower gear longer, higher into the RPM range. It will also downshift a little quicker to maintain higher RPM. That's good for sporting around. It's also great when you're towing. It's going to stay in the power band. It's going to behave really nice.
So how many different throttle levels are there?
Technically, there's 4 that are kind of our standard offering. There's light, mild, medium, and spicy. And then we have kind of some lesser popular options depending on personal preference. We have a light minus that's a little bit lighter than the light. And then we also have a super spicy, and then we also have a race. I'm going to start you on light. ECT will give you mild. Play around with it. When you come back, if you want to tweak it, we'll tweak it. And then also I'll adjust your throttle or any tune parameters, no cost.
Cool.
Now it's just a software update. And because you're coming from a different tune, when we're done with this, I'm going to reset some learning values on your truck, so we're kind of just starting fresh. I'm going to unhook the box. We'll idle your truck for a minute, and then you'll be on a test drive. So with the transmission reset, it'll probably take a couple corners and a little bit for the transmission to kind of figure out what's going on, but it should be pretty quick.
Cool.
Everything's still where it was. You're still at 20.3. So take it for a rip, put some load on it, and we'll see how this number changes when you get back. I'll get your hood buttoned up. So go ahead and take it up to lambs or so, and we'll talk when you get back and we can make any adjustments.
Sounds good.
I just left the tuners. This is my first initial drive, and I'm going up Parley's Canyon here. So if you're familiar with the Utah area, it's just a canyon. There's some steeper hills and a little bit of windy road. So this will be a really good test.
So a couple things I'm noticing right off the bat is that the shift logic in the transmission is different. I'm noticing it's shifting at different times versus with the KDMax tune. The shifts are feeling a little bit more smoother. I think the KDMax had a tendency to just kind of feel like it was slamming in gear, so I'm feeling like those are being a little bit smoothed out. I'm going up an incline right now, and I'm noticing that it's still holding gear, which is great. Okay, so Barrett said to put it under some load, and I am going to put my foot down and see how the truck reacts. Okay, so what I'm noticing is that it's an immediate downshift, and it wasn't reluctant at all. Like, I didn't feel any reluctancy. That when I put my foot down, it was just like, boom, downshift, I'm on the power. And I think with the KDMax, if you put your foot down, it felt like there was some slight hesitation there to figure out where it should be. So I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna slow down a little bit here, and I'm gonna put my foot down again and just see how the truck behaves. Yes, yes, I love it. It's good. Yeah, I mean, you put your foot down and it is like, it's immediate. It's in the right gear, it's going. I love that. I think the main thing that I'm experiencing right now is just overall refinedness. Like I said, I was happy with the KDMax tune, but this feels like it's taking it to the next level. It's more refined. The OTT tune actually makes more power, horsepower, and torque, and I can sense that. Okay, so now I'm going back down the canyon. This is Parley's Canyon, and just gonna see how the truck behaves going down a slight grade here.
Okay, so I'm cruising now about, what, 65, 67. I'm gonna put my foot down and just show you how the truck behaves. Wow. Man, I think that is just one of the biggest things that I'm noticing, is that when you put your foot down, there is zero hesitation. I said it before and I'll say it again. It just, I mean, man, this thing is just on it. It feels like it's just, it found the right gear, and it's just quick and power's there. And I think with the KDMax tune, it was a little bit of hesitation and maybe not as refined. I think this is just, it feels refined. Like, I don't know how much more refined it could get.
So now I'm going to push the ECT button. I'm just going to experience what that's like, because he said it will increase the throttle sensitivity, and it'll just hold higher RPMs, so that's helpful when you're towing things. So they do change the ECT button settings as well, so I'm going to press that and just kind of experience what that's like. So, see, I'm cruising along about 73 right now. I'm gonna give it just a little bit more throttle. Okay, all right. So with the ECT button pressed, I just kind of barely gave it extra throttle, and yeah, it's definitely downshifting, giving you more power, which is good if you're gonna be towing something. You actually really want that, so it's a lot more sensitive with the ECT button pressed. Yep, ran up the canyon. It was great.
It's 25.
Oh wow,
that's a big jump, man.
That's crazy.
You went from 20.3 to 25.1, so 5 degrees, and that's in degrees, right?
Yeah.
Of kind of advance on your engine is huge. So what I pulled up here is I wanted you to see that -3 that we were talking about before. And when we're just sitting here parked, we're not going to see it move around. But when your truck's under load, so typically when I'm logging a vehicle, I'll have engine load, I'll have RPM, I'll have different things visible there, throttle position. And you'll see as the truck gets under high load, 80, 90, 100%, you'll watch this knock feedback, and if the truck's knocking at all, it'll get negative numbers. And if it's going closer to 0, you'll watch your not correct learn value advance on the fly. So it's pretty cool seeing how Toyota tries over and over again to get as much efficiency out of the truck as possible. It's your engine, your truck's constantly trying to make as much power as it's capable of. And so, you know, putting good fuel in will help that number get higher. Like I said, that's a good number. I think you said you topped off with 87 today, or in the last couple days. So that's pretty typical of what I'll see post-tune on 87. Maybe I'll see 26. We're still on winter fuel blend, which tends to give lower numbers than summer fuel. So yeah, I mean, you fill your truck with 91, that number will go up. Again, the highest I've seen out here on 91 is 30.8.
Oh wow.
But the difference you felt in the seat of your pants now, like imagine that same step thing on top. That's what you can get on a good tank of 91 with a solid tune. So
that's cool.
Your truck's happy. Your adaptive cruise control will perform better than it did stock. Basically by boosting the low end torque below 3,000 RPM, 3,500 RPM, your truck's not going to need to downshift as much. And so Toyota still tries to hold plus or minus 2 miles an hour to the death. When you have adaptive cruise on, or even regardless, constant cruise and adaptive cruise are trying to hold plus or minus 2. So it's going to shift, it's going to accelerate, it's going to play more aggressively when it's trying to hold that speed tolerance. But because we boosted the torque on your truck below 4,000 RPM especially, when your truck goes to accelerate, it's going to get that torque and it's not going to trigger the downshift as easily. So it'll behave better. Is your truck going to be able to go up Harleys with cruise control on in 5th gear? No, it's not going to be able to. Your truck doesn't make enough torque to do that. And the Toyota cruise control software is really trying to balance everything really tight. And so it's going to shift more on cruise control.
Yeah, because the KDMax tune, it didn't adjust the adaptive cruise control, right?
That you had, and then the newer versions make some shift logic change, but the shift logic change isn't as big of a factor in the engine control computer commanding a torque. And if it can't get the torque that it is commanding, it triggers a downshift. This tune, because we boost so much torque at the low end, it commands the torque, it gets it, it doesn't need to do the downshift. Now, depending on the magnitude of the change that it's commanding, it may still trigger a downshift.
What about MPGs? Do you guys experience any better, or is it same?
So that's another one where I have to be careful. I don't make any guarantees on miles per gallon. Everyone drives differently. Some people, once they get tuned, they just hot rod around everywhere. Probably going to burn more fuel. But if you drive apples to apples, and if you do a decent amount of highway driving on your commute, you'll see probably a miles per gallon increase, mainly because of the shift logic. It's not screaming in 4th or bogging in 6th. It can hold gears. It just behaves a lot better.
All right, guys, I just want to sum up my final thoughts on the two tunes. Like I said, I was on the KDMax 6.0 tune, and I went to the OTT 9.0 tune, and I can tell you that the OTT tune 9.0 is better than the KDMax 6.0 tune. And like I mentioned in the videos, KDMax does have different versions up to 9.0 as well, and I can't speak for those, but I can speak for the OTT tune, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm experiencing more power, more torque, and the shift logic seems to be much better, really smooth. The throttle response is not as jumpy as the KDMax tune was. So overall, just feeling really refined. I'm really happy with it. I have no affiliation with either KDMax or OTT tune. This is just completely my experience. So which tune should you go with? Well, that's up to you, but if it were me, I'd go the OTT tune. So there you have it, guys. Hopefully this video was informational for you. Please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe if you like this content, if it was good for you. And we'll catch you on the next video. See ya.